Recently, I spent about 2 weeks on Reddit reading every post that I could find from creators talking about burnout. There were different niches, different follower counts, different platforms even, but out of the hundreds and hundreds of comments and threads that I read, there were about 54 that really stood out to me. And I kept seeing the same person. Not literally, of course, not the same person, but the same situation, the same language, the same emotional profile showing up over and over again in different bodies. One creator on Reddit wrote this: "Too invested to quit, not successful enough to relax, brand deals that come and go unpredictably, platform changes tanking your month with zero warning or recourse." Does that sound familiar? Here's what I think is going on, and it's not what most burnout content will tell you. Most creator burnout content gives you the same advice again and again. So post less, take a break, set boundaries, batch your content, and make sure to rest. And this advice is not wrong, but it's treating a symptom and not the cause. Because here's what I noticed across those 54 signals on Reddit. The creators who were most burnt out weren't the ones who were posting the most. They were the ones whose businesses had no infrastructure or floor to support them. And there's a difference between output burnout. Output burnout is when you are creatively exhausted. You don't have any more ideas. You've run out of them. You need a rest. And structural burnout. Structural burnout is when you literally can't slow down without your entire business collapsing. When posting content is the only lever that you have to pull to make revenue move. When every slowdown feels not just tiring, but dangerous to your business because it is. Another creator on Reddit put it like this, which I think is a really good summary. Creators don't usually burn out because they're lazy or doing too much content. They burn out because their income is structurally tied to constant output. When posting is the only lever that moves revenue, every slowdown feels dangerous. So simply taking a break does not fix that, but building an infrastructure does fix that. Let me show you what structural burnout actually looks like in practice, because like all burnouts, it doesn't always look like burnout from the outside. Another creator on Reddit posted this: "From the outside, it looks like success, but the financial reality behind those metrics is way more stressful than anyone shows publicly." Now, this is a creator with a decent following, with decent income, but has constant financial anxiety. The numbers look fine, but the business doesn't feel fine, and that's what causes burnout. So why does the business not feel fine? Because usually the back office, or maybe there's no back office, is held together with spreadsheets, and very often for creators, it's memory, and that is cognitively exhausting. Brand deals might start in DMs and move to email and live in a folder, and everyone has a different folder, and they get invoiced somewhere else, and they're paid weeks later into PayPal or Venmo, and there's no pipeline, so there's no reporting, and there's no record of what worked and what didn't work. One creator on Reddit explained it like this: "I'm using a spreadsheet to track everything, but I forget to update it. I have a folder of invoices named invoice_final_V3 because I have to keep changing the deliverables." So that file name made me laugh, but it's also a real operational failure point, because when you can't prove that your campaign worked, you can't get a renewal. And when you can't get renewals, you're always starting from zero. That is stressful. Here's one that really stuck with me. Another creator on Reddit, someone in a community of 2,000 creators, wrote this: "Those creators who get this are killing it. About 10% of our community are getting 80% of the available work." Now that's just the Pareto principle applied to creator operations. And the 10% aren't necessarily the most talented or the biggest or have the biggest following. They're the most organized. They treat the brand relationship like a vendor relationship, not a Tinder relationship. One of the creators that I tracked, who is a high credibility voice, a top commenter in multiple forums, multiple communities, did something interesting. He went back and looked at his last 100 posts. He found that 15 to 20 of them drove about 80% of his total engagement and follows. The other 80 were basically invisible. He stopped posting daily. In the 4 months after that restructure, he grew more than in the previous 10 months of daily posting. Now, here's what I want you to think about quickly. If you knew which of your posts were in that 15 to 20, what they had in common, what made them land, how would you work differently? For one, you'd stop optimizing for volume. You start optimizing for what the data is already telling you. So that's not a content strategy shift. That's an operational shift. One other creator on Reddit said this: "What actually burns people out is realizing they can't step back without everything wobbling." Okay, if we pull on that thread and I ask you directly, can you step back from your business right now? Not quit and not disappear, but could you slow down for 2 weeks and have the business hold on? If the answer is no, that's not a discipline problem. That's a structural problem. Luckily, structural problems can be fixed. I'm not going to tell you to download another app or to use and adopt a different content calendar. What I'm talking about here is building a floor and infrastructure underneath your creative work so that the business doesn't free fall every time you slow down. That means knowing which revenue streams are actually performing versus which ones just feel productive. It means having a brand pipeline that doesn't live in your head. It means being able to hand a brand partner a campaign report or a performance report so they can take it to their leadership team, because that's what turns a one-off deal into a recurring one. Another creator on Reddit said something that I think is the cleanest version of all of it. Clarity and organization can actually become a competitive advantage, even over bigger creators. You don't need a team, you need a system or a set of systems. The creators who are still here in 5 years won't be the ones that never burned out. That happens sometimes, right? Burnout happens, but they will be the ones who built something underneath their business and to support themselves that didn't require them to be on and engaged actively 24 hours a day. Every week in my newsletter, Creator Ops Weekly, I write about exactly this: the operational side of running a creator business. This is not the sexy content side. This is the back office operational side. It's not content tips. It's not follower growth hacks. It's the stuff underneath. The systems, the frameworks, the thinking. If this video made sense to you, the newsletter is the next step. It's free, of course. It comes out weekly, and it's written for creators who are already making money on these platforms and want to make their business actually work and not just the content. The link is in the description. I will see you there.